Good afternoon, plant parents. In my first episode, I talked about the science of watering, and today I'm going to be talking about the art of watering. Yes, in my first episode, I talked that whenever you're watering, you should know what type of water you're giving, so which means how much TDS it has. So ideally, you should not have any TDS in your water, so that whenever you put a plant food, you know that what is now going inside the plant. So in simple terms, whenever there is higher TDS inside the water, it might react in different ways with the roots and with the plant food when you give. For example, if there is a mercury inside if the TDS is, let's say, very high, and your water nearby you has a lot of lead or a mercury might react, let's say, to the plant food and create some other stuff which nobody knows about. So to keep that all things away and to make sure that the best things goes, what we always recommend in terms of the water is to reduce the TDS to 0 or nearby to 0, and then add the plant food into it. But then, this was the science which is there in our first episode. Today I'm going to talk about the art of watering. Exactly. So how and when is also very important when you're watering it. A lot of people comes to me and says, Anu, when do I water the plant? Or how much should I water it? I have a plant, should I water 2 glass or 3 glass? Or when should I water it, every day or every week? And this is a regular question across India from everybody who comes to our stores also. And that's why I thought today I'll cover the art of watering. And the first point into is when. Now to do that when, I usually follow 2 methods. One is a eye method and second is a spoon test. Into an eye method, you use your normal eyes to look at if your plants need watering or not. So for example, in these coco peat, if the media is dark brown, you don't water it. And if it's light brown like this, then you water it. So in this one, if you can see on my right, the first one, there is light brown, and on my left, this Aglaonema has quite a water. It's dark brown, so you don't need it. The second test is known as a spoon test. I've already done that earlier, but I'll again do it for you guys. In the spoon test is you take a spoon and put it near, not too close to the roots, but a bit far off on the edge of the pot, and take it out. And if you see that it's too moist, this one is really moist, then you don't need to water the plant. At the same time, if you use the dry one and then you put it, and you see that it's too dry and there is no water or moisture which has sticked on to the spoon, then you need to water it. Most of the plants which have died ever in the history of mankind and they have killed is because of overwatering. So a lot of people, with the fear that they are not watering or they will have to water it less or less often, what they do is हफ्ते में 3 बार नहीं डालते हैं, एक ही बार डाल देते हैं पूरे हफ्ते का. And that's why a lot of plants die, So when you clog the roots and the roots are not able to breathe well, they start off rotting it, and that rot eventually is seen onto the leaves because everything is down below, which is the real brain or which is the real heart of the plant is inside this. So overwatering is also a big problem. So coming back to, you have to do 2 tests. One is the eye test and the second is the spoon test to check out when to water it. If it's light brown in the eye test, you water it. If it's no moisture sticking on the tablespoon, is when you water it. Now comes the second part of it, which is how much to water it, right? And how often to water it. Again, it depends on the place you are in, right? For example, or the time of the year you are in. For example, I'm in Delhi And in the similar city also, from me watering in January to me watering in June are two different how and how often. So how much you have to water more into it, and how often you have to do it multiple times in a week. Now to do that, what's important again to see is, and you will learn over it, is whenever you water it, make sure that the water comes out into the tray, and that's important because then you know that your roots complete have got the watering, and then it's been trickling down. If it's not trickling and you have watered it a lot, you have to check that your hole below inside the pot is fine or not, and that's very important to do. So just make sure when I talk about how often and how much, you water the plant such that the water dribbles down into the tray, but also make sure whenever next time you're watering it, your spoon test has been done right. So usually, for example, right now in summers, for a plant like this, I water it almost 3 times a week, and every Sunday I give it a very strong bath outside through my shower, which I have talked about how do I water my plants in summers. So that is the how often and how much of watering is there. So this will make sure if you follow all the 3 things in terms of the TDS levels on the water, when to water, and how much and how often to water. If you're doing it right, trust me, your plants will most of the time survive well. Now if you have a very peculiar plant and it's not a standard regular plant, then you need to see a specific instructions. For example, in succulents, you have to, when you water it, you have to make sure that you water it right, it drenches down, but you only water it when it gets really dry. And I think this is not just for succulent but also for most of the plants. You just don't keep watering it. So for example, right now if it's dark brown, I don't need to water it. Even let's say tomorrow, if it's a high humidity and it's raining, let's say in Delhi, you will see that the evaporation is less, so you don't have to water it again, right? So don't water it when it's too wet or the soil is dark brown. So that's for today from my side on Annu Ke Nuskhe's episode 5. Do follow us on Instagram and follow and do subscribe our My Plant My Baby page on YouTube to know more about my nuskhas. And I'll be coming to you every Sunday and talking about something new, something important to make sure you not just fall in love with gardening, but also grow a healthy and greener babies. Thank you so much for watching. See you. Do subscribe to our channel, My Plant My Baby on YouTube.